Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Thanks for joining me again today. Today I have been guided to come on and just chat about connecting with spirit for those that have perhaps never tried this or are just new to it and are finding their feet. Um, it's just something that is so easy to do, and yet nobody or very few people actually seem to be aware of it. It's been hidden away from us in society for so long that it is seen as this great big thing, this great mystery, and perhaps only, the special or the guided people have the ability to do this. And it's so not true. We can all do it. We all have the gift. We can all tune in. And spirit is real. And I know for many, they are skeptical and they are in doubt about that. They like to challenge anybody who says that it is. But for those of you who are here now, I know and trust that you believe, otherwise, you wouldn't be here in the first place. You wouldn't be seeking out that sort of information and guidance. So, well done for having the confidence and the courage to look at that and to delve down deep and to find out more about it, because it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It is magical. And having that ability to just step up and take that first step and be brave is just fantastic. It is a game changer. It will help your life improve so much. So well done. Right, so going back to sort of where I'd like to begin. At the weekend there, I was with a group of friends, and we had a night where we did have a medium who was a friend of mine come and do readings for us as a group. And for me, this is something that happens to me regularly anyway. I'm used to connecting with the other side, but for a lot of my friends, it's a mystery still. It's still new to them. It's that world of the unknown where they're unsure, they don't know whether it's real, they're afraid. There was a lot of fear, there was a lot of anxiety and worry in advance of the night about what might happen, who would come forward, what they might say. And of course, that's it. It is the unknown to most people because it isn't something that's talked about. And one of the husbands of a friend of mine, he was actually really worried for his wife because he had visions in his mind of it being a seance and, funny things happening. And I think he really thought, should I leave her? Is she going to be safe? Is she going to be okay? Which, we had a little chuckle about that. But really, in truth, there are a lot of people out there that feel that way, that feel it is something to be afraid of and to shy away from and protect yourself from. And it's sad really that it's got that way. That is just what's happened over years of decades, different generations, different situations, media and what, like, it's been morphed into something that it's not, and it's no longer represented in its true light, in its beauty and its purity and with good intention. So those of you who are coming forward and are experiencing things or want to experience things, that is brilliant. That means you are ready, you are open to the idea that there is more in existence than just this, than just us here, sat here in the 3D, which there really, really is. So going back to what I was saying about the weekend, so a few of my friends have not done this before, and I was trying to explain to them that it's something that they can do now. They've had this experience and it was all really positive, I'd like to add. They had some lovely visits from loved ones, some lovely messages, really, really fantastic, mind-blowing night, all with evidence. The evidence was just profound. And there's one thing I always say is you cannot make this stuff up, and particularly if it's somebody that is a stranger to you that's doing the reading. So for me on Saturday, I could have given readings for friends, but that coming from me, I know too much about them. I know about their life, their circumstances, what's going on, what has happened in the past. And so I wanted them to really be able to feel it, know and trust that what was coming forward was real and it was evidence. And so by bringing in somebody that was new to them, that wasn't a friend, had no knowledge or awareness of anything in their lives, that just made it so clear, so real and vivid, and they were blown away. So yeah, sorry, I keep saying I'm going back. I am getting there. For those of you that maybe have never done this before and you don't even know where to begin, this is what I suggested to a friend on Saturday, is that if there's a loved one that's passed over, so whether it's a grandparent, a mother, father, whoever it may be, think of somebody that you feel comfortable talking to, that you would love to talk to if they were still here now, where you feel at ease, you feel comfortable. There hasn't been this sort of strained relationship. It's nobody's had a one-upmanship where somebody's sort of taken charge of the other person. You're on equal ground. You're just in a place of love. You love that person and you miss that person, and you would just love to spend time with them and chat with them and reconnect. Think of that person. And I personally would suggest beginning with this on a night time. So for me, and I know this won't resonate for everybody, there'll be people out there that do it their own way, a different way. I just personally find that this is a nice way to get into it, to sort of build the foundations before you then move on to something else. And it's a forever, never ending journey, this spiritual growth and connection. So don't feel that if you master this my way, that's going to be it, because it's not. You can always then develop and change, and you'll find your own path anyway. You'll find your own technique. They will guide you to do it the way that works for you best. This is just a starting point. This is just a building brick. So yeah, you're in bed, you've settled for the night, you've relaxed, you've got the lights out, you are about to go to sleep. This is how I did it many years ago, and sometimes, well, I still do it now, I really do, but without all of the conscious effort. It flows in naturally now. But I would just suggest you lie there, you take a moment to breathe in really deeply, just to be aware of your body, relax your body bit by bit, paying attention to how you're breathing, if you're comfortable, how your joints and your fingers and your toes and your back, everything, how it feels in the mattress. Just get comfortable. Take that time to become self-aware. Now, everybody will have different things over time, gifts wise. So some people might see visions, some people might just know something and they don't know how. Somebody might hear something, somebody might smell, taste. There's all sorts of things. All the Clairs, you can Google it. It is a minefield of information. It is fantastic. So be open. Don't be worrying. Don't be thinking, well, I'm not clairvoyant or I'm not clairsentient. Don't worry about the labels. Don't even go there. Just be open to the idea that you may have access to all of those, which we do. We just end up usually having a more dominant sort of skill. It's the main one you might go to. You might have 2 or 3, which are your main forms of communication and receiving information. But you are always open to all. It's a personal choice, really, and that's what I mean about your team will guide you over time. And you'll know naturally which you prefer, which you receive more comfortably or more vividly. But it's good to know that you can do anything. So you're in bed and you are just relaxed, you are comfortable, and you just feel unguarded, and that's key. So drop in all the emotions, and please don't be lying there thinking, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I haven't seen anything yet, I haven't heard anything, and all that worry and stress and anxiety, because that's not going to help. That's just going to create a block. We need a clear space, we need to be at peace, we just need to be just chilling. That's all they're asking you, really, is just to be unguarded, to be open, to be free. And if you've got all this murky information coming forward from your own mind, all this nonsense from the ego, then they're just going to think, they're not going to hear us at this point. They're elsewhere now. They're distracted. So you're focusing on just that lovely calm, that inner peace, that nothingness, that stillness that is just your body lying there. And if it means that perhaps you really are just having to focus on one particular thing, like the back of your knee on the bed, or how your heart's beating, or how your eyes feel, whatever it may be, but just focus on something that isn't your mind, it isn't your thoughts. It's nothing that's going to sort of interfere with any signals or messages, forms of communication. And the eyes is a good one, because quite often you are so tensed up, you are sort of frustrated or angry or or just feeling a bit too rigid. And because of that, you're not in a flow state then. You can't receive as clearly. And yeah, everything's just a bit knotted together. So if we can just relax the brow, release all that tension around the eyes, just release it, just go calm, let the eyelids just drop and close really, really lightly, and just, yeah, release that tension. So you're relaxed, you're comfortable, you're focused on something that is not all of your negative thinking or your worry and your anxiety. Then I'd like you to think about that person. Think about them, remember them, and this is key. Don't overthink it. Don't be thinking that we are sort of manipulating the situation here, or it's all in our imagination. It's not. It may have to start a bit like that at first, but it will develop, and it will develop in time when the time is right. So what I'd like you to do is just, with your eyes closed, just imagine that person. Remember them. Remember how they looked. Excuse me. How they sounded. How they felt, how you felt in their energy. So if say it was a grandparent, you've gone to visit or they've come to visit you, and just imagine how you feel when you see them. They've just arrived at your front door or you've gone to theirs. That feeling that you held at the time between you. And imagine giving them a gentle hug or a big hug, whichever you used to do. Just imagine you're back there with them and you're reliving those moments. And you might sort of become aware of like their smell, their perfume, or their home, something familiar like that. Or you might hear something that reminds you. And I'll be honest, you might not hear or smell anything. That's perfectly normal. Don't be overthinking. We're just at the moment reliving a memory and allowing ourselves to go into that flow state of exploring all of that, which you've probably buried. You've probably thought, well, they're no longer here now, so I don't need to think about this. And for some people, as much as we might remember these people and think, oh, I've just been thinking about them today, we sort of remember little snippets, little memories, things we've done with them, places we've gone, or things they've said, but we don't often go into that way of remembering how they felt and how they made us feel. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at that real connection as if they're right there in front of you right now, and you are reliving that. You are experiencing full-bodied energy between one another. How does that feel? And if you are struggling at this point and you just can't even get the memory, then I would suggest you just ask and you call them in. So I do this telepathically. I always have. I never feel the need to say it out loud. For some of you, you might feel more comfortable that way. But the great thing about telepathy is it means, if you are lying in bed with a partner, or there's a baby sleeping in the bedroom with you, you can do all of this without disturbing anybody else, because it's all in the mind, in the sort of the aura of the senses. So I personally would just telepathically say, hi Gran, I hope you're well, I hope you can hear me. I am so excited to be here. I'm open to communicating with you. At the minute, I'm struggling. Please, can you help me with that? Please, can you help me just relax and lower my guard and just fall into this connection with you, please? And just have faith that they can hear you and they will help you. And even if perhaps you're not struggling, you already feel like, I'm there, I can remember them, I can feel them, and it's lovely, and you're feeling all that lovely warmth and that energy, and it's just beautiful. Again, this is key. Telepathy. And yeah, you might feel like a nutcase. You might feel like, well, I'm just talking inside my own head, I'm making it up, it's nonsense. Right, I've lost it now, this is time to be locked up. It's not at all. It's just the fact that this is new to us, and as I say, because of society, because of the way things have been regarded, it makes us feel like this is wrong. And actually, this is one of the best and most truest, most authentic gifts we have, and yet nobody uses it, or very few people use it. So learn, please. Don't knock yourself down. Don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed. Just go with it. Just have a bit of fun with it if you can. So yeah, you're talking, and you just, as I say, if you've already connected, you can then start speaking to them. So telepathically, I personally would just say, hi, I hope you're there. I feel you. I'm glad that we're here and we're having this opportunity. I can never say this for some reason. Opportunity to talk. And, you know, I have missed you. I love you so, so, so much. Thank you for guiding me and supporting me and loving me and being here with me now. I know you are there and I trust you that you are there, and you will come to me when you are ready, when the time is right. Thank you. And just always, always show gratitude. Always be polite and thank them for their presence and their time. And I mean, they would do it anyway. You don't sort of have to beg them or anything like that. They're always there, and they will be so excited that you are open and you are feeling confident enough to actually speak out. Because for a lot of people, you know, loved ones are watching over us and they are there and they're always there, but it's almost like a one-way thing where they're not necessarily getting anything in return. Not that they would ever want that, because that's not what it's about, but it is so lovely for them to feel your energy coming back to them as well. And they will feel that. They will feel exactly what you're giving out. So if you're reliving a memory from a childhood, even perhaps it's years ago or only a couple of years ago or a couple of months back, just reliving that memory, they can feel what you're feeling, and you eventually will get to a point where you feel what they feel. It's just a beautiful exchange. But the key here is being open, not being afraid of it as well. You know, you don't have to fear this. And I think for a lot of my friends on Saturday, that was a lot of the problem. It was initially fear about what is going to happen, what is going to be said, what will sort of unfold. And I kept trying to remind people that you don't need to be afraid, because the person that was doing the reading was somebody that's so lovely, so down to earth and grounded. Absolutely not somebody to fear at all. And really, the messages that are coming through are not even through the medium as such. They are from those loved ones in the heavens, the higher realms. They are your people. They are people who were part of you, your family, your friendship groups, colleagues, whoever it is. They were close to you and are close to you. So you would know that in life, when they were still living, they meant a lot to you. You would have valued that connection, and there would have been nothing to be afraid of. So don't be afraid of it now either. It's no different. They are coming from a place of love. And, you know, even if there has been tensions, perhaps there's been things that have been said over the years between you, or things that have happened that have been tough, just understand that when they get to the higher realms and they move on, for them, it's clarity. It's a totally different place. It's a sort of fresh perspective, and they to have a chance and an opportunity to take a step back and observe and look at what happened, what unfolded in their lifetime. And then they realise, you know, they do have regrets and worries about how things have been left or what was said. So don't be feeling that if something bad happened, that, you know, they're still going to be in that energy where they're kind of mad about it, or, you know, angry at you or whatever. It won't be. Anything that comes forward is going to be from a place of love and forgiveness, because that is always the aim in life, is to work on those two things and to overcome them. And for those that perhaps didn't overcome it in life, they will still work on that in higher realms. So relax. Just know that whatever comes forward is going to be pure love, an exchange of energy, a reminder of your connection, and so, 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 so warm and loving. So you're lying there, you've felt them, you've sensed them. This is in memories, you know, you've relived all of those senses, and now you've started to chat. So you've said hello, I hope you're there. You might feel a bit sort of apprehensive there. You might be thinking, oh, is this real? You know, am I silly? Okay, perfectly normal. Don't worry about that. That will get easier. And you are saying, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching over me and for loving me. And, you know, you can say anything you want, and it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be short. It can be whatever length you want to make it. But just say whatever it is you may feel you wish to say to them. It could even be a sorry. You know, if something's happened, just don't overthink it. Just go with what flows. And if it's only that you've said something and it's lasted 30 seconds, fantastic. That's amazing. You've done that. You've made a connection. It's a starting point. And you know, I would suggest you do this as many nights as you can. And please, as I said to a friend at the weekend, if you've missed a night, or even if you've missed 3 nights or 3 weeks, don't worry. Don't be feeling that that's it now. They've gone. You've offended them. They're not going to come back now. They're always there. They're never going to give up on you. They love you 100%. There is absolutely no chance of them going anywhere. So don't knock yourself down, and don't be hard on yourself if life just got a bit too busy, or you were tired, or you weren't in the mood for doing it. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you come back another night and just say, hi, I'm here. I hope you're there and you can hear me. I just want to chat with you again. Just want to let you know that I love you. I've been thinking about you. Or I'm sorry I haven't thought about you today, but just so you know, I still love you. And I mean, it might sound daft and it might feel daft, but this is just little tiny baby steps. And as I say, you'll get to a point where you just think, you know what, I'm in such a comfortable open space here, and perhaps at this stage you're not even receiving anything in return, and that doesn't matter, but maybe you just feel that actually having this sort of dedicated time to connect with somebody, this clear space without all this mental chaos, because you've pushed the ego out and you're just focusing on this connection, you might find that that helps you to feel unguarded, relaxed, and perhaps even just open to talk. So you might have had a difficult day and you just want to sort of offload and talk about what's happened and perhaps how you're feeling. Talk to them as if they were here now, as if they'd never gone anywhere. And, you know, you just keep flowing with that. Don't be sitting there thinking, well, I haven't heard anything, they haven't answered back, so they don't care. Anything like that, oh, wash it off. Get rid of it. Push it aside, because it doesn't help. There's no need for it, you know. Just concentrate on the fact that we know they are there and they are listening. And it's all about trust. This whole thing is about trust. Nothing comes for free in this spirit sort of connection. And I say this all the time, and it's true. If they were to come from spirit, if they were to come to you and just give you all the guidance and information, signs, synchronicities, messages of love for free, what then would you learn from that? It would be just spoon fed. It would be like just giving a child something without making them realise that they had to work for that things in life don't come for free. We have to be realistic, because that is not the way life is. So much the same as you would live now in this life, you have to work for things. And they know that. They haven't forgotten that. So they would like you to do that with them. It is a dual thing here. It takes two to be able to get to a point of success and communication. So you're giving them something. You are passing a small building brick out there and saying, this is me. I trust you. I have faith that you are there. And I'm not bothered if I don't hear anything at this stage, because I'm just happy to be sharing my energy with you, to being open to receiving. And this is key. Be open to receiving. If you're sat there feeling kind of tense, negative, you know, you're not comfortable, you're on edge, you're anxious, you're worrying about the end result, you're doubting the connection and, you know, your gifts because you haven't heard anything 3 nights in a row, that's going to be a closed off energy. That's going to be harder for them to penetrate and break through. You need to just clear all of that, clear the negativity, and just remain confident. Be positive, even if perhaps you feel like you're lying to yourself at first. Perhaps you're telling yourself on repeat with an affirmation, this is real, this is going to work, I can do this. And you know, if your ego's involved, you might be saying, I can't, I'm rubbish, I've had nothing yet, it's just not going to work. Keep going, keep reaffirming, just keep telling yourself, and eventually the shift happens when you least expect it on. Sometimes you don't even notice it's happened, but it just changes and you've gone up a gear and you're like, wow, when did that happen? So persevere, please. So as I was saying, you've given them a little bit of a building brick, a brick even, and eventually you might just hear their voice. And I don't mean it as in you're lying in the room and then all of a sudden there's a loud voice in the room which somebody else, say partner or child, could hear. I'm talking internally. So it's a hard thing to sort of explain, because it isn't something outside of you. It's just a knowing, but it comes through in sound. So you just hear the sound perhaps of their voice just calling your name or just saying hello, or it's lovely to hear from you. It could just be one word, it could be a few. it unfolds however it's meant to, because they will only ever give you what you can receive at that time, what you can handle. And this is really important for anybody who's feeling anxious about this, who fears, doing this, taking this leap. Or, for many people, they are afraid that, as I've said before, you'll get ghosts in your bedroom, or you're going to invite in people that perhaps harmed you in a previous time. And that's not the case. You have the power, you have the control. It's you, it's down to you who you are open to receiving. And if you are, say, sort of too stressed or anxious, then they're not going to bombard you with loads of information and overwhelm you. Absolutely not. They know that's not going to benefit you. It's not going to be for your highest good. They'll do it gently. They'll do it slowly. It will be baby steps. And to be honest, it usually is anyway, unless you're really, really open to receiving, you're comfortable. Perhaps you've already done this, a previous date or even a previous lifetime. So just trust in them that they looked after you, they protected you, they cared for you in the real 3D life form when they were here. And it is no different now. They are like guardian angels. They are there to protect us always. So trust, have faith that they will give you what you need. And as I was saying, this could be something really, really, really tiny. It might seem minute, but just be thankful. Just really, really show your appreciation and allow it to just flood into your system, to warm your heart, and to just, you might be stunned. You might be sort of just drifting, feeling like you're just going to sleep because you've got so relaxed. And then if you hear something, and you're wide awake, you can't believe it, and your heart's racing, and there's sometimes an element of panic there as well, because then you're thinking, was it real? Have I imagined it? Oh my goodness, are they in the room? You might even turn the light out. You go into a bit of a startled energy, but then you calm down and you realise actually it's excitement, it's joy, it's love energy, it's passion. You've come alive, you're switched on, and it's almost as if they have come into your system and just turned a light on. It's beautiful, it really is. So that is an exchange, and going back to what I was saying about trust, we have to be in an energy of fairness here, of giving and receiving. So you are exchanging. Nobody's just giving you it all for free, and you're not giving it to them for free either. You have to work together here. It's about building that trust, that communication, and that bond, and strengthening that, which always takes time. So go into that zone as many nights as you can a week. Just take the time to just connect. And I'll be honest, much of the time you might find that you've fallen asleep, and then you wake up and you think, oh, I can't remember if it even worked. Did they come through? Did they say anything? Did I feel anything? And you might not know. Don't worry about it. They may have come through afterwards, after you've gone into sleep state, because as I've said before, on a dream level, it's easier for them to come and sort of align with your energy, your vibration. You just meet easier together in that sort of plane. So perhaps there's been a message there that has come through, and you'll wake up and think, well, I've got no awareness of it. Don't worry about it. Your soul's heard it. Your inner self knows whether it's happened or not, and just honestly, don't worry about it. But then again, try the next night or the weekend, whenever you feel guided to do it, and just keep doing it. It is a practice that just has to be sort of maintained, and just keep going there, just over and over. And don't go into that position of feeling that it's pointless, or it's not, there's no reward to it, there's nothing coming, you're not getting anything in return. Please just don't sit in any negative, heavy doubt energy. Don't be in struggle. Just be open, just allow. And it's almost like you're just saying, I am going to do this regardless of whether anything comes back to me, because I love you, I miss you, and I would love to include you in my life because I miss you. And that is giving them such a lovely, warm, clear message that you are ready to receive. And the more you do it, the more you say it, the more they get to a point where they say they are ready, they believe, they have trust, they haven't given up. Let's give them something. And it could be just you've heard something. I quite often used to smell people, so I'd be like, oh, and I hadn't smelt that smell for sort of 25 years. I'd forgotten what it even was, And at first it takes you back a bit, and you're racking your brain thinking, what is that? That's familiar, and I can't pinpoint it. And again, this was sort of night times as I was consciously choosing to invest my time and connect. But then this is when things change. So the more you've done that and you've built that up, regardless of whether you've received anything in return, keep going. And then sometime you will find that throughout the day, you receive something when you least expect it. And I have said this before, washing the dishes, something like that, where you're not really thinking, you're not overly paying attention, you're not in a worry sort of struggle state. You're very flowing, you're very open, you're calm, your ego's been knocked out the way. You're in a bit of a daze, a bit of a trance, you're on autopilot, you don't even know where you're gone. You're having some downtime, you perhaps in the bath even, or the shower. You've gone to work, you're walking and your mind's out the way. You might hear something, you might hear a song that reminds you of that person. You might smell the perfume, you might smell their home. Little tiny little thing. You might see somebody on the street that passes you by and you've done a double take because you honestly think, I think I've just seen them. Trust that you technically have. It is them guiding you to pay more attention, whether that's listening or smelling or tasting or observing from a different perspective. But that person has just walked past you and shone their energy towards you in your direction, and you have felt it. That's why you've turned your head and you've looked, and you feel excited. You're like buzzing. And obviously, if you were to follow that person down the street and they turn around, they won't be that person. But energetically, that loved one has chosen to sort of blend in with the person in the street to get your attention, and it's worked, which is absolutely beautiful. And I mean, I had this once with a song which my gran used to play. It was I think it was Italian. It was some sort of singer that I couldn't remember. There was absolutely no way I could recall the name of the artist ever. I mean, I still can't right now because it's too old fashioned and too obscure. But I was receiving this sound and I thought, what's that? That's familiar. And I was washing the dishes. And then I managed to sort of, well, this is something as well, I've probably said it before, but if you haven't quite heard what they've said, or it's a bit too quiet, or just a bit too quick, or too short, and you feel like, there was more lyrics, ask them, say, can you turn that up, please? Would you mind turning up the volume? Or could you just repeat that, please? Or could you give me a little bit more? Or I can't get it, can you help me? Don't be afraid to ask for help. They love that because that means that you're like, I'm keen, I've took the bait, I'm ready, I want more, work with me. It's like you're calling them in to work with you and join forces, which is fantastic. It's giving them like the thumbs up. Yeah, they feel welcomed into your space, so always ask if you need more. So anyway, yeah, I asked them if they could give me more of the song, and I received some lyrics, sort of a download of words. And I thought, I'm going to have to just Google this. And my heart was absolutely booming. It was racing. I could not believe it. There it was. I've just remembered now. Mario Lanza. That's what this singer was called. I mean, thank you, because I wouldn't remember that. And I thought, I remember me gran playing this. She had like an old gramophone thing, and I'm not joking. And she used to put this record thing in. And I mean, I was just blown away as a child by the whole thing, that it was, we did have a record player, but by this point you had tape decks and things. And there's this old fashioned piece of equipment, and she's playing all these really old songs, and she used to just go in the zone and just be so happy and free. It was kind of like, looking back on it, I think she was releasing her inner child. It was her way of cheering herself up. And yeah, so they gave me these lyrics, and it was this guy, and I thought, thank you. Thank you, because I could not have done that alone in a million years. I hadn't thought about that music since I was a child. I was just blown away. And then once you have accepted that, and most importantly, once you have thanked them, because do thank them, because it takes both of you, remember, you've got to sort of decode the messages, which is your part, but they've got to actually put them out there, which it's not easy. It's not like just because they're out of body, things come so simply. They don't. They have to sort of manipulate their vibration a bit. They have to change it to get into a bit more of a frequency that's aligned with your own. Obviously, you need to raise yours a bit so that they're not having to drop down into 3D heavy energy. It won't be received that way. So it's both of you. It's you're both just having to balance things out there. So say thank you, and once this has happened, maybe once or twice, and it can happen in dreams. I've said that as well. You may fall asleep and feel like you never heard anything. And then you wake up and you've either seen them in the dream, or they've said something to you that you've heard, or that they've shared a memory through a dream, and you feel like you went back in time and relived it. When you wake up, say thank you. And then over time, and as I say, each night connecting, each night going into that space of just saying hello, even if on that night you don't receive anything, despite receiving something the day before, just keep going, just keep having faith, persevere. Eventually things will start to come through without you sort of asking for it. So as I was saying about hearing lyrics or whatever, you might find that as you're going to sleep, you just feel something shift, and you just know. And again, this is a difficult one to sort of put into words, but you almost just feel their energy coming forward. Something just changes. And I don't mean that, you're going to be lying in bed and then suddenly you have a vision of somebody standing at your bedside. Now, yes, some people do receive that way, but I think those are people that are open to it and strong enough to sort of handle it, or it is something that has been a set purpose for their lifetime to experience and grow from. So don't be alarmed, don't be worried that somebody's going to be in your face like that. If that is to happen, it will be at a point in the future when you are ready and comfortable and you can handle that. They will not give you something that you cannot handle at this stage. Absolutely not. So trust in them. Trust that they're giving you what you need. Bite size, baby steps, nice and slow. Um, so yeah, so you're lying there and then suddenly something just changes. You just feel, and it could just be a little tingle or a little warmth. I quite often used to get, and still do occasionally, it's almost like somebody's blown sort of cool air in my face, or somebody's tickled the top of my head, or even just a little touch here, which I always think is that a little kiss on the forehead. Sometimes you might feel like somebody's just reached out and held your hand. Somebody might have your arm, and this is all really gentle and subtle. Again, you don't need to be afraid of this. And yeah, you might flinch or you might jump, and you go into that instant ego panic station. Just relax, just try and reframe it, just refocus on being in that calm place. Don't allow the ego to jump in at this point. Do not start to criticize, do not start worrying. Just allow, and if perhaps it did make you feel uncomfortable, say they touched your arm and they came in a bit too fast and made you jump, relay that, tell them. Don't be afraid to communicate with spirit the same way you would talk to a friend or a family member now in 3D form. Just say, oh, telepathically, you gave me a fright there. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, can you give me some warning next time? Or can you just come in a bit slower or a bit more gentle? I'm sensitive. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid to just speak how you feel. And they will respect that. And again, they will value the fact that you are trusting in them to communicate, and you are unafraid to expand and open up to that awareness beyond self. They'll be like, well done, round of applause. He or she is talking to me and believes I will hear because I am here. So yeah, you might start feeling things like that, and it's lovely. Just try not to be sort of scared by it. And if you feel that you're not sure who it is, perhaps, and that's another thing actually, say something like that happens, say you're in that lovely calm energy, you've kind of focused on relaxing, you've spoken to whoever it is you'd like to talk to, or you've just said hello, just letting you know I love you and I miss you, good night, and maybe you've just kept it brief, and then all of a sudden you have maybe seen a glimpse of a shadow and it's made you jump, or you felt something on your arm or your head, or you've heard something and it's just made you a bit sort of jumpy. If you're feeling that sort of negative, anxious, slightly disturbed, just a worrying kind of unsettled feeling, if you're feeling slightly uneasy, just say, can you tell me who it is, please? Who's there? Which of my loved ones is it? Or is it you? Ask them to come forward and show you who they are. And this is something that I think does take practice. Please do not sort of be put off or knock yourself down if you don't receive an answer to that straight away. you will on this journey be up and down as to whether you're in it and you're a believer or you're skeptical. That is perfectly normal. So if something's happened and then you've not received anything, I'm saying don't go into that zone of doubt and skepticism. I'll be realistic. You will have days where you feel like that, because that's just the nature of the journey. You have to sort of learn to trust them and trust yourself. Faith doesn't come overnight. It is something you have to work towards, and it's experience that gets you to a position, a place in life where you just feel and you just know. So try not to wallow in it. Try not to let the ego sort of hijack the situation and stop it from proceeding or continuing there. But also, if you do go into doubt and into skepticism, okay, fair enough. Allow it for that night, or perhaps it's a couple of nights that week. But come back, just keep trying again, just kind of reframe and prove to them and to yourself that you are willing and you are open to receive evidence and guidance and connection and love. Because you wouldn't be here now listening to this if you weren't ready to connect with all of that world. And it is absolutely incredible that you are at a strong enough point in your life where you're feeling determined to do that. I mean, goodness me, I just wish all the time that the whole world out there was aware of what there is to explore and embrace in the higher realms with loved ones, because it is just absolutely beautiful and it does make life so much easier. Even just connecting with our own intuition, our own higher self, our inner voice, and listening, paying attention, it just transforms you as a person, and it transforms you growth wise. It sends you on a spiritual journey that perhaps you never thought could ever happen. But it's about being open to receiving that, being ready. And if you're not ready, perhaps you do take a step back, and perhaps you are in self-doubt and you're knocking yourself down and you're saying, I can't do this. And you might go away for a year. And I know that seems drastic, and it sort of contradicts what I've just said about don't give up. But perhaps at that moment in time, it is what you need. Perhaps there's other stuff going on, and you're just not open to receiving. Your mind's not there because it's muddied with other things, and you're just not ready, or you're not strong enough. Fair enough. Show some compassion for yourself and understand that everything that happens for a reason. And if that's what's happened, you've gone away for a year and you've gone off on a tangent doing something else, or you've just been on autopilot getting on with life, well, trust that was meant to be. That was there to serve its own purpose. And when the time is right, and it's always divine timing, you will be guided back to say something like this, or another external source, or even just taking that time to connect in bed again with those loved ones. You will be guided to come back to that. And perhaps, a year's time down the line, you receive a powerful dream that just blows your mind wide open. You wake up, heart racing. I've had ones where I've had tears come flooding down my face the second I open my eyes, because that's how I've been feeling in the dream state. I felt so emotional. And if you receive a dream like that, it is a powerful message to wake up. It's time to connect. And trust me, when that happens, it will be because you are actually strong enough to begin that journey. So don't worry if you can't. Don't be hard on yourself if it's not working. But do try to persevere. Give yourself a chance and just see what happens. See how the doors begin to open. And as I say, you have control. You can ask them to slow down. You can ask them to repeat. You can ask them to take a step back. So if you do get to a point where you feel like perhaps a presence, or if your third eye opens and you have started to see visions, you may see a vision of somebody come forward to you to speak to you. Or you might get, say a dog that you've previously had as a pet. And then all of a sudden, it sounds ridiculous, but imagine that dog's back in your zone, in your presence, and they are licking your face. And I mean, that's just an example. That hasn't happened to me, but I'm just trying to get you to understand how we can sort of sense and feel things very close by. So, I mean, I had one once where somebody really had been too close to me. And it did startle me. It gave me a fright, and I did just panic. I retreated, and I just had to say, that was a bit too close. Please, can you take a step back? I couldn't even see there. It was just too much. The energy was too strong. Please, just give me a bit of space. thank you. So, again, being polite, and instantly, I'm not kidding, that spirit just moved back and just, I could breathe then. The energy was there and I could feel myself again, and I wasn't scared. And I realised that that person didn't have anything sort of bad in them. There was no negative emotions there, any vibes that were off. It was excitement. It was sheer excitement, much like the dog coming forward with excitement and love and, energy. It's just that. And it's the same. I mean, I am a fast speaker. I talk too fast. I've always been told to slow down. I just can never seem to do it. But it's because my adrenaline's kicking in. I'm passionate about whatever it is, and I'm just buzzing. So I'm speeding up. Things are accelerating. They're powering forwards, and it's much the same. So you might receive something and think, "Ah, I couldn't catch that. That was too quick." And then you ask them again, and it feels like it went even quicker the second time. You've just got to laugh at that and think, whoever this is, they've got something they want to tell me, and it's exciting them. They can't wait to get through. And as well, when you've made that connection with somebody and you've established it, and and they know, and again, yes, you might be up and down on the fence of skepticism or believing. Don't knock yourself, don't worry, it's perfectly normal. It can take years before you're a full 100% believer. Just allow for that, be open. I forget where I was now. If that person is mega excited, it can just it can overwhelm you. So say you're doing something, and I'll give you an example. There's a loved one of mine in my family, and he passed over, and when he first came through to me, I was obviously doing the dishes. Honestly, I don't spend all day doing the dishes. I hate doing the dishes, but there's an advantage to it because it's time to connect, you see. So I was doing the dishes, and then all of a sudden my heart started racing, and I mean like palpitation crazy. I thought, what is wrong with me? Am I having a heart attack or something crazy? But it wasn't like a fear, it wasn't a pain. It was just simply the fact that it was getting so excited. It was pure adrenaline. And then I realised that actually that didn't belong to me. That wasn't mine at all. And then I got a giddiness. I felt like it was almost as if I was a child playing or in a sweet shop. This jumping, bouncing kind of wild energy where if you look at children and they're playing and they're bouncing off the walls, they're wild, they're free, they're running about like crazy. This energy is really, really high and vibrant and loud and passionate, and there's no fear there. That's the difference. There's no fear. The kids they're just loving life. So I felt like that, and I thought, oh, first of all, I've had a racing heart. Now I feel like I'm some sort of wild child. And then out of nowhere, I just intuitively, on the inside, I just knew who it was. And it wasn't like I was standing there thinking, oh, this is somebody. Who is this? It was them telling me, intuitively guiding me to receive the message of it being this loved one, this person. And oh my goodness. And then I felt his energy, and I felt it was just as if his whole energy, how he felt as a person in the 3D form, it was as if he'd come back and he was just giving us a great big hug. It was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I felt emotional. I'm pretty sure I had some tears welling up in my eyes there. And I just said, thank you so much for coming forward, because it meant the absolute world to me. And of course there is that decoding, there is that thing where, and I think at the beginning, you can sort of overrule things, you can push things out and say, oh, that meant nothing, or you can actually just miss things. So say you are doing the dishes, and you might not even realise you had that change in energy. And I think, the more you do this and the more you practice it and the more you try to focus on the stillness, whether that's the stillness in bed or the stillness of your mind, that then allows you to open up to tuning into different frequencies, so feelings within yourself that might change. So if you have tuned in more to how your heart sort of is most of the time, you will then notice if something has shifted. It's the same with sort of your, I don't know, like your temperature of your body, like you might suddenly feel a bit tingly or a bit cold or a bit hot, or maybe you've got a pain somewhere. being aware, being observing of the changes within your body and in the surroundings around you. So as I say about the cold air, or the smells, or the taste. You might get a taste, and this is a funny one, but you might suddenly just taste a sweet, perhaps say it's like a mint or a bacon sandwich, and perhaps you're vegetarian. This has happened to me. Strange things can happen. You can taste a drink that you do not know what it is, and then eventually you pinpoint it as being ginger or sarsaparilla or something like that, and you're thinking, what on earth? And it'll be something that they loved. It's something you associate with them. It's a memory. So say, you know, your granny loved the sarsaparilla sweets, or your dad used to drink this hot ginger tea. Little things like that. I've had it before. I've suddenly, just out of nowhere, I've been out and about, and then I've had the taste, I've received the taste of a toasted tea cake, and I know that's my gran. And you might know intuitively who that sort of taste or smell is coming from. You might not. You might have to think about it. Or, as I say, you might miss it entirely. Don't worry about it. Don't be hard on yourself. Just be open to receiving. Don't shut it down. Don't say, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to smell that. Oh, I don't want to taste that. Just be observing of it and then let it go. And that's allowing. That is allowing. And it's been in that flow state again of giving and receiving, and just letting them know that that's okay. It's not offending you, it's not causing you any distress. And then next time they give you something else, and it's this bit little baby sort of building bricks to build a solid foundation. I had a point, I think, earlier on where I've drifted away from it. Apologies for that. This, you know, these things sort of channel through me. As I've said before, I don't have set points. I haven't got anything in front of you to tell me what to say. There's no script. I have no idea where these messages will lead. That's why sometimes they do seem to go on forever, which I'm aware of. And please as well, you know, if you're watching any of these and you think, gosh, she's not shutting up today, which will happen regularly, do what I would do and just put it on pause. Just take a note of where you're up to. Say you've gone in 30 minutes and that's enough for you. Just be mindful that you've stopped at 30 minutes and pick that other 30 minutes up another day. That's absolutely fine. You know, it doesn't matter when I've done them, when I've posted them. You will receive it when you're meant to. And perhaps, you know, you receive the first 30 minutes on one day because you're ready to hear it that day. Then you need a few days to just get on with life and, you know, the usual sort of busyness. And then at the weekend you might come back and think, oh, I'm drawn to go back to that video and see what else she was saying. And that's because on that day you've got a clearer head, you know, than you have maybe the last two when you've been busy at work, and you're open to absorbing it and taking it on board. So please don't be alarmed if it's a mega one. There's always something in there for you, I hope. So yeah, I'm just trying to recall if there was anything in particular there that I was getting at, or if I've missed. But it is just having faith in what you're receiving, trusting, being open to it, being unguarded. Don't be frightened. Nothing will be sort of alarming. You know, as I've said over and over, they will only give you what you are ready to receive. And the more it happens, the more you get just little subtle signs, the more you just sort of open naturally. Anyway, you relax. You don't have to call them in. You're just there, available, should they wish to give you something. And okay, these things at the beginning might seem a bit sort of daft, you know. So you've smelled a particular say it's a steak pie that your granddad used to make for a Sunday dinner. Why do I need that now in this life? Okay, you might think it's mad, or it's a bit daft. But it's just something fun. It is something a bit silly, but it's a memory and it's a bond. And, you know, treasure the fact that they have shared that with you, and it's something lovely. And the more that happens, eventually they'll know that you're comfortable with them and their energy and how they communicate with you. That's when they'll start giving you other things. So things that have deeper meaning, that have more power, that can then help you grow and excel and get to be at a place in your life that is more fulfilling and more reflective of who you are as a soul And that's the whole point here, you know, they are there to support us 100%. And when we pass over, we will be there in soul, in spirit. For those that are still here, you know, we will come back. And if they are open to receiving, we'll be excited. We'll be jumping at the chance, at the opportunity to come back and do the same in return, to be there for them. Because as souls, we are always helping one another. We are a massive network of support for each other. That is the whole point in this. Oneness, the fact that there isn't just you and I and them and whoever else. We're not separate beings. There is a web connecting us all. And okay, that isn't something that's visible to the naked eye. You know, it's not just there, out there for all of us to see. But believe me, it is there. I mean, perfect example of this is if you've ever had a moment where you've thought, oh, I must ring that person. I've been meaning to do it for weeks now and I keep forgetting. And then, and your phone rings and it's them. That heart racing kind of panic, but also mega excitement. And like, you know, you'll be on the phone saying, I can't believe that. I was just thinking about you when you rang. Because you're interconnected, those little tiny threads, you've exchanged your energy telepathically with that person and they have you. And their ears have picked up and they've thought, oh, I must ring that person. And you'll have loads of things like that happen in your life where you just think, I know something's coming, and then it comes. Because your soul, your higher self, is aware of everything, because it is free, it is constantly moving, it is not trapped in your body all day long, just sitting here waiting for the day to end, you know. It can be wherever it wants, and it never fully leaves you either. Don't feel like, you know, your body's being vacated and you're just running on empty there. You're not. But your soul is willing always to be a free spirit, because that's what we are. We are spirit, we are free, we are energy, and we are love. And our loved ones up there and around us, well, they are. You know, when I was a child, I remember thinking, do I believe in heaven? And I'm not religious, you know, believe it or not, I'm not. I mean, now, yes, I would class myself as falling into a sort of a spiritualist group of sort of, if I'm to categorise it. But I don't go to spiritualist church. I'm not saying I'm religious, because I'm not. But I believe in this 100%. But as a child, I was kind of thinking, do I believe in heaven? Do I believe in God? And I remember being in the yard at primary school and looking up to the sky and thinking, is there something up there? And is there steps? And, you know, I had all these visions in my head of what it may or may not be like. And at some point, something just clicked in my mind. And I just thought, well, I don't know if that is actually a place. And I don't think I believe it is a place that you can go to and be in like we are here. I just feel that we are everywhere. We are around everyone. And if you want to go to a place that's beautiful and looks like that, then maybe you can. But it's not that that's one place like heaven or hell. It's just that sort of free energy of space, the universe. And that's it. It's, to me now, it is the fact that we are here in the 3D, we are in the body, we are living out our lives in this world. But all around us in the space, the energy, you know, our homes, the outside, outside of the earth even, it is just energy, it is connection, it is the universe. And within all of that, tiny, tiny little sparks of souls just whizzing around, communicating, bouncing off each other, learning, growing. And obviously, yeah, if you incarnate, you choose to just put most of that energy in here for the purpose of learning. So be kind to yourself. Don't knock yourself down if you feel like it's not working straight away. Don't be telling yourself you're no good at this, you're rubbish, or anything like that, because it's just mean. You're being mean and unkind to yourself, and you don't need to be. Honestly, take the upper hand. Be positive. Tell yourself that it doesn't matter how many times it takes, you're going to do it. You know it's going to work. And just know that they can hear you, and just say, I can hear you coming. I know that you are there. I feel you. And, you know, even if, and I know this sounds like we're doing something wrong here, we're sort of lying or fooling them. Even if it feels like you're lying to yourself because maybe you can't feel them or you can't hear them, believe in it. Plant that seed in your mind that you can, because what you think about, you bring about. So if you can get into a place where you can imagine them and feeling and hearing, it won't be long before that actually manifests and it truly happens. And that moment will be wow. It will blow your mind, it will warm your heart, and it will just uplift you, and it will change your life. And I'm just thinking there, buy a book that is dedicated to this, a little diary, a little journal, so you can record things at first. So tiny little snippets of songs or smells or tastes or memories, or just a change in energy, just that feeling of somebody. And you might get somebody who's a little bit nervous. If they were timid and nervous and quiet in lifetime, then that's what they're probably going to be like in spirit. That's something as well. I think it's important to understand that, you know, how somebody was in life, in the 3D form, in the body when they were incarnate, that is how they're going to be in spirit to a degree. So, you know, if somebody was quite loud and energetic, and, you know, a perfect example, I've got a great auntie who was incredibly loud, and she'll be listening right now, so I'll probably get her telling off. But she was loud and she swore like a trooper, and I'll be honest, I'm a bit like that myself. I blame you. When she comes through, she's no different. She's loud as can be, so I know it's her. It's just funny. Just go to those memories, go into that place of feeling and remembering what that person was like, the little funny characteristics, the little, you know, things about them. And then eventually you'll tune into that. You'll tune into that coming forwards. It's just beautiful. It's lovely. But yeah, get your notebook, get your journal to write these little things down, so that if you are feeling a bit detached or a bit sort of, you might feel deflated one day. You might feel like, you know, you're just not getting anywhere with it. You're not any further forward. You haven't received anything. You're in ego. You're in self-doubt. You're knocking yourself down. And we all have those days. Again, just allow that. Show yourself some compassion. Look back at your journal, look at your book, and just see the little things that have happened. Even if it's only one thing, even if, you know, I'm saying that, and then you look in your book and you think, oh, I've only got one thing. Just feel how that felt again. Just remember it, and just trust that if you are open and if you believe, because what we think about, we bring about, you will receive it. Ask, believe, receive. And that is so important. So if you're asking them to come forward, to communicate, to give you something, you must believe in it, even if that takes time. Because as I say, faith doesn't come overnight. Believing in something isn't given to you straight away. It takes time to believe and trust, you know. But take that time, keep going back, keep revisiting. Allow yourself to sort of mess up from time to time and back out or panic or whatever. Just go back in, just, you know, say, sorry about that, I just needed a bit of time, or sorry if I offended you by telling you to leave me alone because I got scared. Doesn't matter, they're going to be okay with that. Just treat them the way you would have done if they were here now in a physical body. And just know that they love you, because they absolutely do. You are going to change their life as spirit as much as they will for you. Enjoy your journey, and honestly, if you've got any questions at any point, feel free to message me on here. You know, I'm always open to sharing anything I can. It's a lovely, lovely, wonderful thing to experience. So get ready and enjoy it. Thanks everyone. Enjoy your day. Bye.